If you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Sunday, December 2nd and it's 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope you're all doing well. We've got Q posts to go over and man, do we ever. Now, I feel at this point, I've spent a lot of time in school, literally, and I mean a lot of time. And there always comes this feeling close to exam time of, I wish I had studied harder. And I am a studier, but every time exams approach, it's like, oh gosh, I wish I'd studied harder. That's how I feel about Q right now, because I feel like it is reaching the apex. I feel like everything is pushing towards a close, which it may take, the closing act may not happen like that. It may take months, possibly years, but I do feel like we are entering into that period. And for some reason, I think December is going to be a month. December 2018 is going to be a month we're all going to remember forever. I could be wrong. That's how I feel. Let's get to the Q posts. Now, this is the first one from today. It was made at 1 o'clock, 1:03:21 this afternoon, Eastern Time. And Q, first of all, alludes to a drop that he made on September 30th. And I bet those of you that are regular listeners will remember this because it says Red October, but the red is in the form of a cross. Justice K. Confirmation. That's Brett Kavanaugh, obviously. Confirmation. D-class. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Payment in full. Then we have a link to a news article, which we're not going to go out to, that talks about Jeff Flake and that him being accosted in the elevator and suddenly changing how he felt or how he was going to vote on Kavanaugh. Flake's decision came after he spoke to senators of both parties and withstood pressure from some Republicans not to take such a step. As he considered his course of action, Flake also had a conversation with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who is in charge of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Then, Q says, define treason. The crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. Now, we've got a lot of people in America that just run their mouths like, like Kathy Griffin with the head, the bloody head that she's carrying around, and people saying that they wish that they could shoot him and they want him dead. Now, yeah, that is a form of treason, but we're talking about people that are in positions of power that have literally banded together in a plot to not only overthrow, but potentially kill the sovereign in this nation. Now, that's alarming, and that is, my friends, is treason. The crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. So that applies to a lot of people in politics right now. Define subversion. The act of subverting, the state of being subverted, especially a systemic attempt to overthrow or undermine a government or political system by persons working secretly from within. And that's what I was getting at there, that, there's always going to be people that talk. I don't think we have to worry too much about them. It's the people that we don't see. Those are the people that you have to worry about. And there are people, and we know that now, that are secretly have been attempting an overthrow behind the scenes. So those are the people that I believe we will see brought to justice. Think line of question regarding Senator Graham to Justice Kavanaugh regarding enemy combatants. Now, I remember that so clearly because I remember thinking, what is he saying? I could not believe that Lindsey Graham was following that line of question towards Kavanaugh. And I thought, okay, there's got to be people in here that are, literally having cows. I mean, I don't know a better way to put it. There's got to be a better, more creative way to put it. But yeah, I'm sure that people were pretty much freaking out at that point. And then he leaves 1-800-9 and he says operators are standing by. Q, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, I think that 1-800 number was to the White House. I could be wrong. and I didn't check it again. I remember calling the number and it was the White House. All right. Then, after he makes reference to this post, he makes reference to this tweet by Trump. And it's a very simple tweet, one word, treason. And that's interesting. I know it got a lot of people talking at the time. That was made on the 5th of September, and this particular post came on the 30th of September that Q is referring to here. So Trump made this tweet before Q made that drop. Now, down here, still the same post, still the same Q post. Here he's alluding to a post by on January 26th of 2018, so almost a year ago, not quite. And he leaves a PDF, military detention of U.S. citizens and 18 U.S.C. 401A.PDF Q. Now, we are going to go over to look at this on the actual site where it is, which is right here. Here's the post. Sorry, I don't know why that all of a sudden wanted to, okay, here we go. Here's the post. Let me make this bigger, if I can. It takes its time. This board is very, very, very slow, and it's just because of the sheer enormity of the drops. So here we go. Now it's starting to respond. Okay then, well, maybe not. That is why I copy from here onto a Word document, in case you're wondering, because people have asked me that. Why don't you just, go through them at the original source? Well, this is why, because it takes far too long for it to react. It's a very slow site, so I copy them just so that I can save some time and aggravation. So anyway, I'm going to leave that for now, and let's come back here. We're still on the same post. Let's look at this first link. Very interesting stuff. 305th Military Police Company deploys to Guantanamo Bay. This is from today. Okay, from Wheeling, West Virginia, and December 2nd, so this is today's paper, fresh news. Wheeling, more than 100 members, and that's quite a few people. 100 members of the 305th Military Police Company of Wheeling were deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Saturday following an official ceremony at Triadelphia Middle School Gymnasium. The 400-day deployment is in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, according to Sergeant First Class Reginald Pickett with the 305th. He said the troops will be performing various military police duties during this period. Several speakers, including Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Bennett, commander of the 400th Military Police Battalion, spoke to the troops and their families about the hardships involving a long deployment. They're not just being sent over there for training or what have you. This is a deployment. They're being deployed there, and they're being deployed there for over a year. In fact, I believe, if I can find it, it's for 400 days. Thank you to every one of you guys and gals who are standing here today who answered the call, because that's what you've done, and you have distinguished yourselves in doing so, in taking that responsibility. Bennett said before going on to thank the families for their sacrifice as well. You are the ones that are doing double duty. You are the ones that are left behind, and are keeping things going for us while we're doing our mission. So I really want to say thank you to both the soldiers and the families for all that they do in making this possible, he added. This is really hard because we're asking your soldiers to leave your jobs, leave your family, leave your life, put everything on hold for a long period of time and make that sacrifice, Bennett explained. And you do it without exception, without pause, and you deserve a great deal of credit for that, he added. Bennett concluded by saying how important it is for the extended military family to reach out and take care of each other during the deployment. Keep those communication lines open to each other, and 305th, you know this, you have to take care of each other. I know that come the end of this thing, you guys are going to have really distinguished yourselves to the highest sense of honor that we know that you have. I hate it when they're making quotes from people and the people, it just doesn't read well. More than 100 family members and friends joined in the troops as they stood at attention while singing the Army song before seeing their loved ones off, who departed on 2 buses parked in front of Steenrod Elementary. I believe somewhere I was seeing that they're leaving for 400 days. Now, not sure where I read. 400-day deployment. So 365 days in a year. So this is longer than a year. And what are they doing there? That's 100 military police. 100. What are they doing? What are they going to be doing there? Why do they need so many? Some of these, I think, were pulled out of retirement and so forth. So what's going on? We know what's going on, don't we? Sure we do. Let's go back. Now, look at this. Another link that Q is leaving us. These are not my links. These are Q's. When it comes to Guantanamo, Trump is truly the builder in chief. We've been hearing this for a long time, and remember the pictures? And I've shown them on this channel, I know, of Guantanamo before and Guantanamo now, since before Trump took office and now. And it has been built up exponentially. So if you're looking for that, you can probably find it by Googling it if you haven't already seen it. I'm not going to show it again because we've got enough to get through. When it comes to Guantanamo, Trump is truly the builder in chief. Miami, the Trump administration has more than $200 million in new construction teed up for Guantanamo this year. Let me see when this was made. This was made March 2018. So Trump administration, $200 million in new construction teed up for Guantanamo this year and next, combining new funding in the $1.3 trillion spending bill and existing products. The biggest ticket item for the U.S. Navy base in Cuba in the so-called omnibus spending law is $115 million for a new 848 troop barracks across the street from the McDonald's and commissary to consolidate enlisted prison staff under one roof. A dive into the documents that underpin the spending bill that President Donald Trump signed Friday, declaring nobody read it. It's only hours old. Some people don't even know what's in it. Indicates Congress did not fund a new $69 million prison for the 15 high-value detainees at Guantanamo. Yeah, there's only 15 high-value detainees at Guantanamo. 15? You need 100 military police for 15 people? Really? I think 1 could have done it, don't you? Maybe 2, depending on how combatant they are. I don't know. Sure don't need 100. And you sure don't need all that money spent there for 15 people. All right. It does, however, devote $66 million to a 150 prisoner jail with campus at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State for troops and airmen accused of crimes. Well. It also serves as a study in contrast of the cost of doing business at their remote base behind a minefield in southeast Cuba, where both labor and supplies must arrive by barge and airlift to undertake new construction. To put the cost of the new barracks in perspective, the omnibus spending law this year is also funding dormitory-style housing for 216 sailors at a Navy training site in Pensacola for $18 million or $83,000 per bed, compared to Guantanamo's cost of $135,613 for comparable housing. The new barracks has been championed by Trump's chief of staff, John Kelly, during his year as a Marine general at U.S. Southern Command, and rejected by President Barack Obama, who wanted the prison complex closed. Well, of course he did. All his buddies are in there. He probably knew it was going to be used for him eventually. He's not stupid. He's a puppet, but he's not stupid. All right. So there you go. I don't think we need to read all of this, although you are welcome to do so. But I think we need to move on in the interest of time and in the interest of covering everything that is important. Let's look at the next link that Q supplies us. And here it is. Now, it says, a detainee kneels in prayer at sunset on Saturday, February 11th, 2017, at Camp 6 at Guantanamo Detention Center Zone. The military approved release of this photo. Now, Let me see when this came out. May 2nd, 2018. So around the same time as the other. As the one we just read, not the first one. The first one was out today. Washington Defense Secretary Jim Mattis has given the White House its new policy guidance on transferring detainees to the U.S. Navy base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, a critical report intended to outline whether the Pentagon backs promises President Donald Trump made on the campaign trail to fill the prison with, quote, bad dudes. This policy provides our warfighters guidance on nominating detainees for transfer to Guantanamo detention should that person present a continuing significant threat to the security of the United States, Pentagon spokeswoman Commander Sarah Higgins said. The report was not made public. Terrorists are not merely criminals, Trump said in his State of the Union address, announcing his orders to keep the prison open. They are unlawful enemy combatants. Now that's important. That is important. They are unlawful enemy combatants. Now, what did Lindsey Graham? What was he talking about to Justice Kavanaugh? About unlawful enemy combatants, unlawful enemy combatants, and they need to be treated under military law or tried under military law. And when captured overseas, they should be treated like the terrorists they are. So there you go. I'm not going to belabor this because I think it's important that we understand the gist and not every jot and tittle of what is being said here. It says the United States remains engaged in armed conflict with Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and the associated forces, including with the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, it said, using language that suggested the Trump administration wanted a policy to end ISIS captives to the detention center that was set up for suspected Al-Qaeda and Taliban members and affiliates. There are currently 40 captives, including 10 who were charged with war crimes at military commissions created by President George W. Bush. So there you go. We're going to go back to Q. And we're going to continue. Now, this is quoting from the article that we just read. They are unlawful enemy combatants. Questioning Graham to Kavanaugh regarding enemy combatants. Unusual? Yes, it was highly unusual. And I think everybody in that room thought it was highly unusual. And I think that those who, are critical thinkers that were watching that, I think they thought it was unusual too. So, yeah, highly unusual. And then he says, define treason. Executive order effective 1/1/19. Something's coming. It's coming. DOJ Office of Legal Counsel opinion regarding U.S. citizens regarding enemy combatant. I overshot the mark a little there. Drops combined paint a full picture. I look at, not that I am comparing Q drops to scripture, not in any way. They're not even remotely on the same level, but it's like scripture. People love to pull things out of context and think that they know, but scripture says you have to take into consideration the whole counsel of God. The whole counsel. You have to read the Bible as a whole or it doesn't make sense. That's why so many people don't understand it and so many people abuse it. And I believe that is similar with the Q post. I think you have to take into consideration all of it or you're not going to understand it. Because if you start picking and pulling here and there, you're going to think you know, but you're not going to be right. That's just how I feel about it. Now, do you believe in coincidences? Well, in terms of this stuff, no, I don't. May God bless those who fight to defend our great nation. We, the people. Q. Now, we're going to go on. And here is the second post. These are really fascinating posts today, seriously. Now, And if you don't find them fascinating, then you need to go find somebody else that can present it better than I can, because I know that there are some people that are better than others. And if you're thinking, well, I think this is boring, then please find somebody else, because I want you to get this stuff, whether it's from me or from whoever. I don't care. I just want you guys to know this stuff. Now, here we are, and Q, again, is making reference to this from an anon back in December. Oh no, I'm sorry. I misspoke here. This is Q referring to an anon's post from today. So Q is responding today to an anon's post from earlier today. Actually, he responded 6 minutes later. So this anon posted this at 1:10, and Q responded at 1:16. So Q was evidently watching the boards carefully. Now, we're going to look at this bigger, because I know there's no hope of you seeing that. But below, we're going to read this first, so that we can take all this into consideration after reading this. All right? Think multiple meanings. Goodbye could mean 1, fired or removed from DOJ. Could mean 2, removed from special counsel oversight. 2 is completed, meaning he's been removed from the special counsel oversight. Talking about Rosenstein. Number 1, fired or removed from DOJ. Okay, that's coming. So he's telling us, okay, he's already been removed from the special counsel oversight, and yeah, he is going to be fired or removed from the DOJ. And then Q says, learn our communications. Huber, FISA, and it's not just one, it's more than one, because he's got the S in parentheses, two-way street. Now, I'm not exactly sure what he means by a two-way street, because I could take this different ways, but I'd be interested in what you think. And we're going to take a look at this coming up, which may elucidate it further. Let's take a boo. All right, now, Q provided this for us. I mean, an anon provided it, but Q alluded to it, so I think it's pretty important that we see what this has to say. It says, the week, Rod Rosenstein is no longer in charge of the Mueller probe, and that was November 7th, 2018, roughly a month ago. On New York Post, Rod Rosenstein no longer overseeing Russia probe. That, again, was November 7th. And acting Attorney General Whitaker to take authority on Mueller probe from Rosenstein. And again, that was on the 7th of November, around 4 in the afternoon. And let's just go across here. And this is from The Hill. DOJ acting Attorney General to take over oversight of Russia probe. Just trying to see if I could see the date on here. Let's see if we can make it a little bigger. Of course we can. Probably made it too big now. All right. And that was November 8th. I got to make it smaller, or I can't. There we go. I got to make it even smaller. Let me go here. There we go. All right. So, there's no in between. It's either way too small or way too big. So, the Wall Street Journal, Matthew Whitaker, a critic of the Mueller investigation, now oversees it. Let's try it this way. All right. Trump's new acting Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker, who has criticized the Mueller probe, will now oversee it. President Donald Trump, new acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker, will oversee Special Counsel Robert Mueller's probe of Russian meddling in the 2016 U.S. election. The acting Attorney General is in charge of all matters under the still can't see it. Sorry. I do apologize. It's hard when I'm trying to get this big enough so everybody can see and me. Okay. The acting Attorney General is in charge of all matters under the purview of the Department of Justice, a spokesperson for the department says when asked if Whitaker would oversee Mueller's investigation. Now, again, this was November 7th. This was November 8th. This was November 7th. That is the Wall Street Journal. Now, let's go straight over and look at, I'm telling you, this drives me insane. Okay, here we go. This seems to be a good size. All right, from September 7th, we have this post from Q. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Q. And then we have this one from September 17th. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Goodbye, Mr. Mueller. Patriots in control. Q. And then we have this one. Q. September 18th. I knew that cough would show up sooner or later. And there it is. All right. Sorry. And here, September 18th, we have Fox News. Greg Jarrett, if Rosenstein defies Trump's order to declassify documents, should he be fired? And underneath, Q has said, goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. So there's September 7th, September 17th, September 18th, and September 21st, we have a link to the New York Times, U.S. Politics, Rod Rosenstein, wear wire, 25th Amendment. Remember all that kerfluffle about him wearing a wire? And again, Q says, goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. Q. September 27th. Justice K. Confirmation. Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein. D-Class. POTUS. Alert Test. Red October. Q. And then we have November 7th. Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Jeff Sessions. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Now, I am not one of those people that believe that Sessions was let go because of bad performance. I think it's the opposite. Anyway, I think that we'll see him again soon. All right, so underneath here, going left to right, we're going to start here. The Hill, Trump considered Mueller for FBI director before he was named special counsel. Now, I'll tell you one thing. This has got me rethinking a lot of stuff. Seriously, it has. But let me go on. I don't want to taint you with my view. I want you to be able to reach your own conclusion. All right. So here, from the Hill, Trump reportedly believes Mueller will write a letter publicly exonerating him soon. That's an odd thing to say. That was December 18th, 2017. And the Washington Examiner, Ken Cuccinelli, Trump is exonerated by Mueller indictment of Russians. And that was February 20th, 2018. And USA Today, let the facts from Mueller's investigation exonerate or prove wrongdoing by President Trump. And that was May 30th, 2018. And we're going to go over here now. And we're going to look at these. And this was by an anon on October 29th of 2017. So it was over a year ago. Open your eyes. It finally came out that Rod, Bob were key players in the uranium scandal. Don't you think POTUS would be tweeting about removal given clear conflict? Why did POTUS meet Bob under the cover of FBI director interview? Bob is unable to serve as director per the law. Now, this is going back to the very beginning of Q Drops when all this stuff was being talked about, and I had forgotten about it. That's why I mentioned I wish I'd studied harder because there's a lot coming out now that pertains to posts made a long time ago. Anyway, Gowdy comments on Comey history will, POTUS has everything. Not everyone is corrupt. Fewer than you think. Follow Huma, Operation Mockingbird. Now, we know what that is. That has to do with the press. Priority to clean out the bad actors to unite people behind America First agenda. Many in our government worship Satan. Now, not about Republicans versus Democrats at this stage. Where is Hillary Rodham Clinton? Where is the National Guard called up across 12 cities? Trust in your president. God bless patriots. And then April 10th, we have, okay, I think we're going to go down let's go over. Trust Sessions, Trust Ray, Trust Kansas, Trust Horowitz, Trust Huber. That was April 10th, 2018. And let's go down here. Why did Mueller meet? Now, this is again from Anonymous. Why did Mueller meet POTUS one day prior to FBI announcement if Mueller could not be offered director due to previous term limits rule? Why is Pelosi begging for a new special counsel? What is Pelosi's net worth? How was this obtained given salary as career official? Why is Pelosi's memory going? Could it protect against prosecution? How so? What if John M.'s surgery was fake? Why would this occur? What could this prevent, potentially? What is the Mayo Clinic? Who sits on the board of directors there? Well, Barbara Bush was one of them. And although this says anonymous, these sure look like Q posts to me. I remember these as Q posts. Anyway, let's go over, see what else we're supposed to look at here. If the fake Steele dossier constitutes the bulk of the facts submitted to the FISA court to obtain FISA warrants against POTUS, dossier dismissed as fake, baseless, if Mueller was appointed as, and this is Q August 28th, by the way, if Mueller was appointed as special counsel based on the dossier, and the dossier was proven to be fake disinformation, and the dossier was proven to be the bulk of the information submitted to the FISA court in order to obtain the warrants, plus FISA signers premeditated neglect to disclose the actual facts, lied to, then how is Mueller still special counsel? Good question. Barack Obama never called to testify regarding Mueller. Okay, I don't think that is Barack Obama. I believe that is Bruce Orr. Bruce Orr never called to testify regarding Mueller. Mueller investigating Russian collusion. Why would Mueller not contact Bruce Orr? Bruce Orr was the back channel between FBI, DOJ, and Steele. Why wouldn't Mueller seek testimony? Mueller, impeach POTUS operation? If impeachment is the goal via retake House midterms, does it not require a 2/3 vote in the Senate? Yes, it does. What will the 20 FISA fourth warrant disclose? Trust the plan. Huber has everything. Q. Then, moving down, we've got Q from November 30th, 2018. And he says, Anonymous says here, Mueller removed via D-class. Mueller will face charges regarding Uranium-1. He's working to save himself. Q. All right, and over here from September 17th, 2018, panic in D.C. Sessions and Huber weekend meeting. Interesting. I bet you not too many politicians work on the weekends. And here, November 30th, to the person who leaked Huber Clinton Foundation whistleblower, do not reveal more. Monday, tomorrow. Q. To all those who doubted Sessions and Huber, you will all pay the price very soon. Now, let's come over here. And this from the Daily Beast, Jeff Sessions quietly appointed a prosecutor to probe Trump's foes. That could be an unprecedented disaster. That was from, doesn't give the date. Oh no, it does. March 4th. March 4th. And then we have this from Judicial Watch, Clinton, Comey, Uranium-1, who is John W. Huber. That was April 10th, 2018. And then this from the Washington Times, John Huber's FBI Justice Department probe shrouded in mystery. That was from October 25th of this year. Now, underneath that, it says, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. So let's go back. Let's go back to the actual drop here. And this is what we just looked at here. And it's entitled, Goodbye, Rod Rosenstein, Side by Side. Ping. And underneath, again, think multiple meanings. Goodbye, fired or removed, removed from special committee oversight. 2 is completed, 1 is coming, learn our communications. Huber, FISA's, two-way street. Let's go on. Now, Q is referring to this post we just looked at, and beneath it, he adds, Goodbye, Mr. Rosenstein, removal regarding the special committee oversight, which he has been removed. Did Rod Rosenstein feel safe post Air Force One 30-minute meeting with POTUS? And I was not aware of that. Actually, I think it was you guys that filled me in on that meeting. And of course, Air Force One is like a compartmentalized, what do they call that? A skiff. It's, you can't hear, or, it's completely, you know what I mean. I can't think of the words to, you can't be overheard in there. There's no way to bug it. You can't go in there with a phone or anything like that to record what's happening. So it's completely safe. And so Q is saying, did he feel safe during that 30-minute meeting with POTUS? Did Rod Rosenstein communicate meeting back to handlers? Well, these are questions that are not questions, as we see often in Q, and I don't think that he's asking a question at all. I don't know. Says, did he feel safe during the meeting? Well, I don't know the answer to that, because that really kind of is an answer. But he says, did he communicate the meeting back to handlers? Well, I would assume that he did. Wouldn't you? When your enemy feels in control, ... Well, don't you think that would have taken him by surprise if he did think that he was in control? If he did believe that they were all in control and nothing would take them down and their plan was going to succeed? Wouldn't that surprise him when all of a sudden he has this 30-minute meeting with POTUS and he finds out, oh, not so safe after all? Yeah, and don't you think he would communicate that back to his handlers? I do. I think maybe that's part of the purpose for him to communicate it back to his handlers. All right. When your enemy feels in control, and you know what? When the enemy feels like they're in control, they tend to do really stupid things. When you're panic regarding Whitaker. Oh, of course there's panic regarding Whitaker. Big time panic. Panic regarding Huber. Oh, yes. Why has the FISA court kept quiet regarding discovery of fraud perpetrated on court? When an operation is active, ... Actually, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 dots there, and there's 4 dots here as well, after when your enemy feels in control. These people are stupid. Q. Now, I don't know why, and it could be that my brain is just not functioning properly today, but I don't really know what the answer is to this. Why has the FISA court kept quiet? I don't know. Why have they? And Q is actually answering this question beneath, when an operation is active. So I guess he's answering it in a sense, but I still don't have the full picture here. Do any of you guys? Because if you do, please help us all out. Put it in the comments below. A lot of you guys comb through the comments as I do, so it's very helpful. Now let's go on. And here we go to the next one. And it says, now this is today at 4 o'clock, 4:15. And he gives a link to Twitter. And he says, a world united is a beautiful thing. People are inherently good. I would argue with that, but okay. And I would also argue that a world united is a beautiful thing because, well, that is my personal opinion as a believer. I don't believe that the world united is a beautiful thing, but I know. Don't go correcting me in the things below because I know that not everyone believes or agrees with me, and that's okay. You don't have to. A world united is a beautiful thing. People are inherently good. We stand together. Q. All right. Well, what's he talking about? Well, I clipped the Twitter where he sent us, and it's this. And above it says, meanwhile, in Berlin, hashtag QAnon, hashtag where we go one, we go all, hashtag worldwide. Well, look what we have. We have people standing very obviously with the letter Q in their yellow jackets, which there's a whole other thing about the yellow jackets. But anyway, so that's very interesting. Apparently this is in Berlin. Now, let's go on, because I think that's pretty straightforward. Now, this is anything but, okay? This is the jewel of the post today, okay? This is the jewel. This is the one that I really want to take apart, and I'm going to spend some time on this. Not in this video, because I'm going to get across what I have so far, then I'm going to really, really research this because there's a lot here, a lot. Now, Q is responding to this post by an anon from today. This anon posted this at 4:19, 9/11. See that in there? 9/11. I don't know. Might not be related. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm pointing these things out to you for you to make your own decision. So Q responds to this at 4:26. So 7 minutes later, Q responds. And this person had this to say, which is really quite ugly. What happened to 11/11/18 Unified America Day? You disgusting liar fraud. Answer Freddie, you effing faggot. Yeah, that's what this anon said. Now, Q responds. Personally, I think this anon, this is what I think. I think this was just not organic. I don't think that this person that said this, just sprung up organically. I think that one of Q's people actually posted this for Q to respond to. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but that is what I believe. And you are probably will be unable to convince me otherwise unless you've got some really good data that I don't have. Now, beneath it, Q responds. This is the interesting part. He says, think waves. Think waves. WW. Think waves. Worldwide. Define unified. 17. Satellite, SAT, I believe, stands for satellite. Knockout, forced, new, classified technology online. By who? Controlled, moment, activated. 17, in kill brackets again. Do you believe in coincidences? Do you believe your efforts here persuade people to stop the pursuit of truth? Then he has in kill brackets, and I'm not sure what this refers to yet, but I am going to research the snot out of this. I really am, because it's got my my spidey senses tingling. It really does. Do you believe your efforts here to persuade people stop the pursuit of truth? Then he has in kill brackets CA_J question mark. There is a place for everyone. Q. All right. Now, if you're anything like I am, when I first read that, I went, what? I looked at it for a few minutes and then started picking out a few things here and there, like worldwide, satellite, classified technology, and things like that. And then I started doing a little bit of research, and here's what I have so far. When Q is talking about waves on November 11th, and probably those of you that hang around YouTube probably are aware of this, there was a weird anomaly worldwide of these waves. Okay, now let's go take a look so that you know I'm not just pulling this out of my hinder parts. Oops. Just closing some of these down so this can open better. And waiting. Okay, an aerial view of Mayotte South Island, but look at this. This is from National Geographic, so we know that the source is a good source, and I'm waiting on my computer again. I don't know why it has gotten so slow these days. All right. On the morning of November 11th, before 9:30 UT, a mysterious rumble rolled around the world. The seismic waves began roughly 15 miles off the shores of Mayotte, a French island sandwiched between Africa and the northern tip of Madagascar. The waves buzzed across Africa, ringing sensors in Zambia, Kenya, and Ethiopia. They traversed vast oceans, humming across Chile, New Zealand, Canada, and even Hawaii, near 11,000 miles away. 9, 11. Okay, I'm just pointing these things out because as we go, might mean nothing, might mean absolutely nothing. These waves didn't just zip by, they rang for more than 20 minutes, and yet it seems no human felt them. Only one person noticed the odd signal on the U.S. Geological Survey's real-time seismogram displays, an earthquake enthusiast who uses the handle at Matariki-Pox, I don't know, saw the curious zigzags and posted images of them to Twitter. That small action kicked off another ripple of sorts as researchers around the world attempted to suss out the source of the waves. Was it a meteor strike, a submarine volcano eruption, an ancient sea monster rising from the deep? Well, that's a little far-fetched. I don't think I've seen anything like it, says Goran Ekstrom, a seismologist at Columbia University who specializes in unusual earthquakes. It doesn't mean that in the end the cause of them is that exotic, he notes. Yet many features of the waves are remarkably weird, from their surprisingly monotone low-frequency ring to their global spread. And researchers are still chasing down the geologic conundrum. Now, I know this spread a lot of waves across YouTube because I saw videos on it, people questioning, what was this? Well, this was on November 11th, okay? These waves that went across the world. They were worldwide waves. Now, in a normal earthquake, the built-up tensions in Earth's crust release a jolt in mere seconds. This sends out a series of waves known as a wave train that radiates from the point of the rupture, explains Stephen Hicks, a seismologist at the University of Southampton. The fastest traveling signals are primary waves, or P waves, which are compressed waves that move in bunches, like what happened to an extended slinky that gets suddenly pushed at one end. Next comes the secondary waves, or S waves, which have more of a side-to-side motion. Both of these so-called body waves have relatively high frequencies, Hicks says, a sort of ping rather than a rumbling. Much as this picture here is showing. Finally, chugging along the end come slow, long-period surface waves, which are similar to the strange signal that rolled out from Mayotte. For intense earthquakes, these surface waves can zip around the planet multiple times, ringing Earth like a bell. Interesting. However, there was no big earthquake kicking off the recent slow waves. Adding to the weirdness, Mayotte's mystery waves are what scientists call monochromatic. Most earthquakes send out waves with a slew of different frequencies, but Mayotte's signal was a clean zigzag dominated by one type of wave that took a steady 17 seconds to repeat. It's like you had colored glasses and are just seeing red or something, says Anthony Lomax, an independent seismology consultant. Now, I don't think we need to read any more into this. I just wanted you to know what I believe those waves were. Now, let's go back to QPost, all right? So think waves worldwide. Define unified, 17. Okay, well, I know what you're thinking. Well, that doesn't really fit together, does it? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Now, I took this from an anon, and it says, it has a link to the same article. I started, as soon as I saw that, for some reason, I started looking up when those waves happened. And when I hit on November 11th, I went, aha! So I wanted to research, see if anybody else was thinking the same thing. And apparently some are. However, there was no big earthquake kicking off recent slow waves, adding to the weirdness. Mayotte's mystery waves are what scientists call monochromatic. That, of course, was in the article that we just read. Now, here is, and again, I've got a lot of research to do on this because I'm not there yet. I know that I have not decoded this, and there's a lot in this. I don't know if it can be completely decoded at this point because we know that always the future proves past, but I'm going to try because it has totally intrigued me. But think about this, okay? 9/11 happened 17 years ago. 17 years ago. So, follow with me here because I know this is going to sound way out there. It's going to sound way out there. And I know it is. But we all know 9/11 was an inside job. We all know that. Anybody that is, researching in the Patriot community, I think everybody at this point knows that to be a fact. And I happen to believe that the same type of direct energy weapons that were used in the California fires were used on 9/11. That's what I believe. If you are not of that ilk and don't believe that, that's fine. But I would ask that in the interest of knowing the truth, and again, I'm not saying that this is the absolute truth, but I happen to believe the work of Dr. Judy Wood, who's done extensive research into this, and believes that direct energy weapons were used on 9/11. I happen to agree. There's too much evidence for it not to be true. Same thing with the California fires. You can look at that, you can look at it and say, that's not normal. Cars doing that, that's not normal. Being able to look down from an airplane and see the whole forest intact, but all the buildings burned to the ground, that's not normal. That's not normal. What happened on 9/11, that's not normal. The towers literally dustified. Now that's her word, dustified. And I think it's a good word because I think that's exactly what happened. If you watch the tower falling, it literally, like that spire when it was going down, it literally disintegrates out of nowhere. Nothing's hitting it. It's just falling straight down and it disintegrates in thin air. That is directed weapons. Now, I think Q is pointing out something here. These waves on November 11th that went around the world, he says, define unified. So these waves went around the world. And then he's giving us, I don't think that this stands for Q. I don't think it stands for the 17th letter of the alphabet, that's Q. I think it stands for years. I think he's telling us to look back 17 years to 2001, where these directed energy weapons were first used on the citizens of the United States. They were used as a weapon. And he's saying define unified. And then he's saying 17 years ago. The 11th, we know, is the Twin Towers. The 11th has always been an important day in the occult, always. And it stands for the two pillars of Jachin and Boaz, and I'm not going to get into all that because I'm going to freak people out. But anyway, I think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying, look back at 9/11. That's when this was first used. These waves that went around the world has something to do with that. It's strange. Then he says, satellite knockout forced new classified technology online. So the satellite knockout, remember back when Q was talking about all the satellites that they knocked out, Corona, and he was naming them one after another that were offline. So he's saying that that forced this new classified technology online. But by who? I don't know. Who knocked out the satellites? I thought it was the good guys. I thought it was Q and his team that knocked it out because he was messing with the communications. That's how they were all communicating, the cabal, the deep state. He knocked out their communications. He knocked out their supercomputers. And I don't know. He said satellite knockout forced new classified technology online. By who? Is he telling us that this was forced online by the good guys? That this was being, this technology was being withheld from the people, used against them, and they forced it online? I don't know. You tell me. I could be completely misreading this. And he says controlled, moment activated, 17. Now, I believe he's talking about 2001 here, the Twin Towers. Controlled, moment activated. Is he talking about controlled demolition? Is he talking about the control of the direct energy weapons? I don't know. But he says, do you believe in coincidences? Do you believe your efforts here persuade people to stop pursuit of the truth? And then he has in brackets here, CA_J. There is a place for everyone. Q. Now, I really want to know your insights into this. So if you have a feeling or a thought and you think, oh, this is stupid, but it could mean this, throw it out there because it helps us all. And you know what? It could be stupid. What I just said could be stupid. Could be exceedingly stupid. I don't know. But in trying to understand, we're all in the same place. We're all grappling to understand this and what's happening and what's coming on upon the earth. We're all grappling with it. So throw it out there. Nobody's going to condemn you. And if they do, I actually, if comments get abusive towards other people, other commenters, I usually remove those comments because I don't want fighting in the comments and on this channel. I really don't. I want everybody to get along. We don't have to agree. We don't have to agree. We don't even have to really like each other, but let's respect one another, okay? Now, let's go on to the next Q drop, and it's this. Power belongs to the people. You are what matters. All you needed was a spark to unite together. They are scared. Think fake news attack, second only to POTUS himself. And when he's talking about the fake news attacks, he's talking about the fake news attacks on himself, and it's second only. The attacks on Q are second only to the attacks on POTUS himself. Together, we win. Trust yourself. Think for yourself. You are not alone. Open your heart and your mind. Where we go one, we go all. Q. That is pretty straightforward, so let's move on to the next one. And here he's giving a Twitter status, and he says, do not mistake silence for size. This movement is larger than anyone can possibly imagine. God bless. Patriot Q. Let's take a look at this. Now this person, MAGA Mom, says, was just at my Wichita Costco and found this note on my windshield. I've had these stickers on my dirty van for months. So nice to know at least one other patriot here who trusts the plan. Where we go one, we go all. QAnon, Payne, at Real Donald Trump, at Citizens Report, and let's take a look. I have never seen another Q patriot in real life. God bless you, patriot. Where we go one, we go all. Make America great again. It's nice to know you are out there. So that is in Wichita, Kansas. She was at Costco shopping. Her van has a Q on it with "I'm awake," and somebody left that nice note for her. So very nice. And Q reminds us in looking at that the don't mistake silence for size. There are people, I don't know if I would want to go around with a big Q sticker on my car because I'm pretty sure my car would get keyed. And it's sad. It's sad, but you know, it's right, especially if I was to do it around here. All right, let's go on. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Now, this is interesting and something I suspected as well because I thought, okay, these protests are way out of proportion. Q says, what you are witnessing in France has nothing to do with gas. That is a forced narrative. Viva la France. Q. So we know that it has nothing to do with, it might have a small bit amount to do with the gas, but that is the forced narrative, much like we see over here with our mainstream media. They just go with whatever they think it should be and what they want the narrative to be, and they run with that. And the same thing's happening in France. I think they're upset about a lot of things, mainly migration, but in a few weeks, actually, it will be illegal to complain about migrants or say anything derogatory whatsoever in the EU anyway. Now, let's go on. Now, this very astute Anon says here, he's making reference to a Q post, and it says D-Class, LP, Viva la Resistance, Viva, and A and E are in brackets. This is from a June 19th, 2018 post. Interesting. Yeah, this post from Q is from June. And this is what Q is saying. D-Class, LP, Viva la Resistance, VA versus VE, JC, James Comey, why classified by intel community at highest level, defined title, defined role with Mueller, exchange shelters, very senior member. And down below, Q says, you are learning Anon, James Comey, and Viva la France. Riots in France today? Comey testimony? Do you believe in coincidences? Q. Interesting. Very interesting. Q seems to know everything that's going to happen before it happens. How is that? Really? How is that? And now we're coming up to another Q post here, and I may have to break shortly because this is getting really long, but we'll see if I can get through them. Okay, now here, this is a little clip from the White House. Looks like it came from Twitter, and it says, together we reaffirm the truth that light will always break through the darkness. We send our very best wishes for a blessed and happy Hanukkah. President Donald J. Trump. Read the president's message on Hanukkah. Now, and it says here, presidential message on Hanukkah, and here is the link to it, and it says, light through darkness. Do you believe in coincidences? Q. Let's go take a look. And here is the message, presidential message on Hanukkah, issued on December 2nd, 2018. Melania and I send our warmest greetings to our Jewish brothers and sisters in the United States, in Israel, and around the world celebrating Hanukkah. For 8 nights, Jewish families and friends will come together to engage in the lighting of the menorah. This special tradition started more than 2,000 years ago during the rededication of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, which followed a trying period when Jews were persecuted for practicing their faith. Unfortunately, Jews today continue to face many different forms of violence, hatred, and bigotry around the globe. We remember all those from the Tree of Life, or I can't pronounce that, congregation whose lives were tragically taken in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this past October. As one nation, we pledge our continued love and support for the victims, their families, and the community, and we pray that the victims' family find some measure of peace and comfort during this holiday season. Over the coming days, may the warming glow of each candle on the menorah help fill homes and hearts with love and happiness. Together, we reaffirm the truth that light will always break through the darkness. We send our very best wishes for a blessed and happy Hanukkah, and that is beautiful. Very beautiful, and I have goosebumps. I'm not sure if you can see them, but I do. Now, let's go back. So, Q is pointing that out. Light through the darkness. Coincidence? No. And let's go on. Now here we have another one that is referencing a link to Twitter, and it says, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. History books. Q. And I think there he means this is going to be one for the history books. History is going to be rewritten. It is. Because a lot of what is written, especially about the JFK murder, I think that's going to be declassified now. Now that Papa Bush is dead, I think that that's why it was continued. It continued to be classified because he was still alive. Now that he's dead, I really believe you're going to see all of that come out. I really do. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. Now let's go take a look at this. And we have this. Breaking. Anti-Macron protests. Okay, well, which one do they want us to look at here? Maybe both. Breaking. Anti-Macron protests. Video of French police forces brutally beating a yellow vest protester has led to anger among the French population. Warning. Footage may be disturbing for some. I don't want to see somebody get beaten up. I really don't. Breaking. Watch. Paris. A group of French police officers removed their helmets to show solidarity with the French people against President Emmanuel Macron as anti-Macron protests continue throughout France. And didn't Q tell us? Goodbye, Macron. Goodbye, Merkel. He did. And we're seeing it happen before our very eyes. All this stuff has been planned with military precision, and it's just being walked out. It really is. All right, let's go back to Q. And nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing, he says. So, yeah, that is very interesting. I think that there's a lot happening worldwide. And here, ask yourself a very simple question. Why is there a total and complete mainstream media blackout regarding France, Belgium, Germany, and the EU riots, etc.? When you are awake, you can see clearly fake news equals enemy of the people, Q. And he is completely right. I would think that this would be dominating our news. That's what I would think. But it's not. No. And they don't want to say what it's really about. So it's about fuel tax. Right. All right. Okay. Now, here we're coming up to what is the last post, unless Q has posted more. And it is a post, it is a link to Twitter, and it says, United we stand, Patriot. Together we win. Where we go one, we go all. Q. Let's go take a look. And we have this picture. Meanwhile, in Berlin, and underneath we have this guy, Saturday in the Hague, and he's wearing his Q shirt. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, I have a feeling that Q has possibly posted more. So I'm going to go out with you all and take a look and see if it's something that we can easily look at. We will. If it's something that I need to look at further, then I will come back with a second video. How's that? right, let's get rid of some of this and let's go to Q. And let's, this will take a minute. If you don't, are not in, if you do not want to wait, you can end the video and we have to wait so long for this website. I hate it. I really hate it. Well, I don't know. Here's the deal. It's being slow. I'm going to go out and take a look and see if there are new posts. If there are, oh, here we come. Here we go. Here we go. Spoke too soon. Now it's really teeny, 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 tiny. Let's go up to the top here. All right. Yes, there are new posts, so let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, that's the one we just finished. Nothing can stop what is coming. And then the one where we've looked at that. We've looked at that. And looks like there's one more. It says, "Be proud, the world is about to change." Let's click on this one and let's take a look at that. And that will bring us completely up to date. If there are more posts tonight, I may possibly come back and do another video. I'm not planning on doing a Q-related news tonight, but probably will tomorrow, and I will be back because I think tomorrow's going to be a busy Q day. Could be wrong. Maybe it'll just be a busy news day. I don't know, but that is what I think. Now, this one says, there's a link, and it says, "Be proud, the world is about to change, Q," and it has a link here, which doesn't seem to be active, which is odd. Let's see if I can copy and paste it. Copy. Because gosh darn it, we want to know what this is. Alrighty, it says, "Extremely patriotic. A man proudly singing 'God Bless the USA' at a Chick-fil-A. This is the America I love." I love this video. I've seen it many, many, many times. I can't play it because that song that he's singing is copyrighted. He's singing "God Bless the USA." He's got one of the most beautiful voices I've ever heard. And if you can, it's out there on YouTube. It's just put in maybe, whoops. Okay, just put in man singing "God Bless America" at Chick-fil-A and you will find it. All right, it is beautiful. It literally is. He's got a beautiful, beautiful voice. So that's it. That brings us up to date on the Q posts. We are all up to date. And even though we're up to date, I still feel like there's so much in those in that drop, especially that one that I don't understand. And I'm going to be looking into it further. So anyway, I will be back with you tomorrow. Unless there are more Q posts tonight, then I will try to bring those to you. But other than that, you guys have a great evening. And remember, tomorrow's a big day because Q alluded to it. So, yeah, I think tomorrow's going to bring a lot of stuff. Anyway, we'll see. We're all in this together. So have a good night. I hope you sleep well. I hope you stay well. I hope you stay safe as well. So I will talk to you guys soon. And thanks so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you later.